we might want to consider perhaps how to use loneliness to improve our mental clarity. And this will be able to help us solve our problems on an internal and an external level to be able to achieve things internally and externally. And it'll allow us to use our environment to our advantage, in a sense. And the reason why I want to say loneliness is because a lot of people are already lonely, but they're using it in the wrong way. Okay? A lot of people are lonely, but they're addicted to their phones. And that causes their minds to end up not, they end up being brain fried and they're not able to focus properly on the task that they want to do. Therefore, it doesn't allow them to properly communicate or voice what they want to do with their lives and how they want to move in their directions. So, today I want to come up with some ideas that we might want to focus on to improving our environments and how we focus in loneliness to bring us clarity to our problems. That sounds complicated at first, I'll agree, but in the sense that I know of, it's very simple. So I'll explain it to you, take a few minutes, and then you'll walk out of here with the ability to use loneliness as a productive, inspirational, empowering environment rather than using loneliness as a poison to your own existence. So, now you probably have this idea that you might be wasting your time. And if you have this idea, I might be able to provide you with a solution by actually being lonely, which, accordingly to the stats, I believe one or two out of every three Americans report feeling loneliness, which may not be definitional loneliness, but if they feel it, that can allow them to use it as fuel to focus on the things that I want to focus on. So here's what I mean, right? When you are when you are lonely, right? And maybe you're sitting there, you're on social media, okay? Or maybe you're on something that you shouldn't be on and you don't like it and you want to be somewhere else, whatever that may be. So you have to first admit that to yourself and say, okay, I am in the spot where I don't want to be and I want to change. And now the first question that your mind's going to bring up to you is why? Well, because when I'm in this state, it doesn't allow me to get the actual things that I consciously desire, and I put my conscious power over my subconscious. Therefore, we should be taking action and listening to our consciousness rather than taking action because of some subconscious, animalistic, emotional sensation. Okay, so how do we begin this? So, in order to begin it for you, I would say that we might want to start writing. And now a lot of people don't like writing because of how school basically proportionalizes it to nothing. But what I want you to do is, instead of thinking of writing in that sense, where you're like writing sentence by sentence, paragraph, whatever, write how you want. I don't care. But what I want you to do is prompt yourself with a question and write down that question, right? So you can focus back on that question, because people that often struggle with, in a sense, being able to get things done, they often have a lack of attention. So with that lack of attention, the question might slip, you might start thinking of something else, and the instant you close that book, you gotta be like, hold on, let me open the book again. And I have a book off the screen, so I kind of did that. That's why my hand is like over here. But so developing that concept will allow you to start answering the questions that, or at least start taking action on the things that you want to take action on. So maybe, for instance, okay, I do not want to be sitting here doing nothing and being alone on social media. What could I do instead which empowers my capabilities, tests them, and does something to the point where I believe my life will be improving in the correct direction? Okay, kind of a long-winded question, but the answer would be something that challenges you, right? So, for instance, maybe I mean, on the easy level, like the easy comparison is school. So maybe you're not good at English. Okay. So maybe that means you need to make your ideas more coherent and make them more fluent to other people. Okay. How do I go about this? Well, you can try to shorten up your writing. You can try to use less ambiguous words, or you can try to maybe clear up your message throughout the entire thing and have a clear, distinct message to your audience. Okay, so I have to make a clear, distinct message to my audience. Excuse me for 1 second. But I don't exactly know how to do it. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be, since you never knew how to do it in the beginning. Since even if you gain these insights, you're not going to magically become the person who knows how to apply it. You have to apply it again, and apply it again, and apply it again, and keep going until eventually you get a little bit more fluent in it, and then you get a little bit more fluent in it. It's the same graph, right? And then eventually you go like, because after the 40th time you've tried making your message more cohesive and silenced, or not silenced, but like more like narrowed, you then become a lot more skillful at it. And you should treat it in the sense of like riding a bike. Okay, you're not gonna be able to really ride it until like the 40th try, and that's okay, right? So I'm going to take that and place it in your own mind as you are solving your problems. You start to understand that as you keep trying to solve your problems over and over and over again, your answers become more precise and they become more articulate towards your needs. And then you become a much better off person, since you know your problems and yourself a lot better than anybody else. And you start knowing that on an actual conscious level instead of the subconscious egotistical level, where you believe that your problems are actually easily solvable when in fact they are not. So I want you to take the time to be by yourself and consciously focus on one objective, right? Have something, for me, it's recording these videos. Have something that you can focus on and with intent of trying to complete the task in the best way that you know of, okay? And I want you to do this, since if we don't do it, are we really going to be where we want to be, right? And so, let's see. Now, there's a difference between controlled loneliness and uncontrolled loneliness. The reason for me bringing this up will become apparent in a second. So, controlled loneliness is the environment where you have chosen to be by yourself, to focus on a certain task or objective, and to increase your knowledge. Uncontrolled loneliness would be you are in a situation where you are by yourself, which is entirely out of your control, and that is what often leads to the actual suffering associated with loneliness, since people don't have that idea of seclusion as being a right rather than being a forced upon reality. Okay? So, referring to seclusion as a right rather than a dictator that's forcing that thing onto you, you then understand the idea of using loneliness as a clarity, as a mental clarity, as a mentally clarifying environment, which you then can use to obviously take action on and solve your problems. So, honestly, I'm gonna end it there because I don't really have anything else to say, and I really should have planned out this video better because I basically bullshitted half the way through. So, yeah, I gotta get better at making videos. But I'm gonna end it there, do the thingy, and as always, we are here to help you help them.